Hello. I'm jumping on live today with Miss D Pope, so I'm waiting for her to ask me to join in. Hey. Hi, Tanya. Hey, D. I see you on. Hold on. D, you could just bring me on your live. There.
There you go.
Hey, D.
Hey, how we doing?
Good on this Sunday.
I know, right? 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 You
Good.
know, I got a little football action in.
I know. They were watching our football. I'm like, well, let me go over here and jump on this live real quick.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Other than that, how's everything been going for you?
It's going good. You
Okay,
being an entrepreneur ain't never a dull moment. We like
got you.
trying to get everything all squared away and things like that. Um, okay, let me see. I see we have some people on, so let's get started because I know it is Sunday and people trying to
Got
get
you.
the game,
Got you.
but we
Well,
come and show them some game.
got you. Got you. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Look,
Right.
it's been a minute. It's been a long time coming. To your extended fan base and definitely to mine. My name is D, and I am a tax lien investor. I've been investing in tax liens probably going on a little bit about 5 years now. And my journey with tax lien investing, I actually fell upon it. I started off investing in real estate, the off-market way, finding a real estate agent and finding those off property, those properties that weren't in the market, for a reduced price. And, I had a very bad experience, in that process. And, part of that experience was I didn't know about, business credit. And so basically what wound up happening is that as I'm doing my fix and flips, I'm getting hard money lending. I'm not, I started falling behind and it started affecting my personal credit because I started taking out debt, credit card debt. I mean, taking out credit cards against my personal name, really didn't know how to leverage it, even though I had LLCs established.
Right.
So, just that lack of education, it wasn't there. And so I went from an 800 score all the way down to a 526 or 23. And then with that though, I had 4 credit cards. I had one I had for like almost 16, 18 years. And I started putting money on the credit cards to pay for, properties that I'm flipping and, just making bad decisions, trying to, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And so what wound up happening is that in the 2016, it was like, okay, you're done with fixing and flipping. It's some things that you need to understand that you don't have the knowledge in when it comes to leveraging your personal credit. So I really took a break from fixing and flipping. And in 2018, in the beginning of 2018, I just happened to stumble upon tax liens. I went out to Louisiana to visit my family, and some guy, he was telling me that he was winning, or he was buying up the block, and he was buying up the block in Louisiana through tax lien certificates. And I'm saying, okay, why don't you give me some game on that? And he was like, yeah, for sure. So I kept calling him and calling him once I made it back to Atlanta. And it was like this guy was ghost. And so I said, well, let me dive into, tax liens a little bit further. And so I did that. And, I wound up finding a course. And, my tax lien journey in 2018, really started to propel. But there was still a missing component. So my credit's damaged. And the only thing that I could do at the time was using my personal cash in my mindset because I didn't know.
Right.
So here I am, you know, using my personal cash. You know, hard money lenders are like, hey, you got to have a certain credit score. And, you know, despite the fact that you're coming in with 20%, you know, it's nothing you could do. But obviously, tax lien investing doesn't fall into that arena. And so once I started to understand, I needed to really focus on my personal credit. It wasn't until about, what, 2 years ago that I understood business credit, because my mentor was like, when your personal credit isn't in position, you need to build business credit. And
Right.
so I'm saying, okay, you know, how do you do this? And then obviously, you know, she taught, you know, how to, you know, build business credit. And so once I started building my business credit, again, while working on my personal credit,
Mhm.
I realized that, all right, here I am in the tax lien world. I'm buying properties with cash, and then I come across some counties that were having tax sales, and they were like, I'm reading the policies, and they were like, oh, the rules. It was like, yeah, you can use credit cards to, you know, get into winning some of these properties. So I said, look, let me try to understand this. So I will make a phone call, and I said, okay, I want to be able to go to your online, bid on your online auction. You know, what's my form of payment? They were like, well, here you have to put down $2,500 to reserve it. And the only form of payment that you can reserve with is a credit card. And I said, well, I can use my business credit card. And they was like, yeah, you can use your business credit card. And then so from there, once I understood that and I started using my business credit card, I took it a step further, which was simultaneously, you know, I do tax lien consulting. So I would have some of the folks that I would consult with, and they were almost in the same predicament I was a few years ago, with not being able to leverage their personal credit, not having family and friends who they could go get money from or
Right.
borrow money from to invest in, not having a 401k or an IRA that they can convert into a self-directed IRA. One thing they had, which was powerful that they didn't know, was an LLC.
Right.
And from there, it started the journey. And I'm like, okay, we need to get you in position. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had several of the individuals I was consulting couldn't really go forward. So I said, you know what? Let me start doing some lives and really hitting home about getting your personal credit. And then I said, you know what? Let me hit up my homegirl because I know she talks business credit. So, you know, I came to you.
Right.
And I'm telling these people, you know, don't let your personal credit or don't let not knowing about business credit be a deterrent from
Right.
you not buying tax liens.
Right.
Thus, you know, I
Right.
got you.
Yeah. Well, that's good because I'm constantly learning from you as well as far as tax liens. And for
Yeah.
those are following that's not following me, my name is Kima. I am a credit repair consultant. I work with clients building business credit, and I also assist them with business funding. Um, he said a lot of people make the mistake due to lack of education. Let's get this clear. People been doing this all along. It's like now we're just getting hip to it, right? So everyone thinks soon as they form a LLC, they automatically have a business, right? And they think they could get funding. Oh, I got an LLC. I need to get 10,000. Well, it's more to it
Yeah.
than, structuring your business.
Yeah.
So to, those that's following, I wanted to go over certain things that lenders are looking for. It's more to it than just the LLC.
Yeah.
So got to have the LLC. And even when you starting to think of a name of your LLC, I would say let's look into different, let's stay away from those high risk names,
Yeah.
right? As far as trucking or real estate and et cetera, things like that. Yes, you can get funding, but lenders tend to see that as a high risk. Um, field. So it's best that you just say something like Kima Consult, you
Yeah.
know, services or Kima Marketing. And then you will go to the Secretary of State, see if that name is available. Now, there is on our team that can get you, you know, your LLC all set up for you, search to see if it's available, process your EIN number, and, you know, all the documents you need to bring to the bank. So the first step is let's get that business name, right? Then after that, I would say focus on your address.
Yeah.
Yes, you can use your home address, but if you notice when you go to the Secretary of State, that's public information. So, God forbid you have a client that's, you know, not your
Yeah.
home there. So, I will go to make sure that your business is looking as professional as possible. Right. So I would say go to maybe Regis or iPostal and just pay a monthly fee to get a virtual address. But
Yeah.
what I, because I know some offices here in Atlanta, just right up there, they have suites. Just pay them $50 a month. They'll let you just use them for, you know, a mailbox. So you have to get your address as far as phone number, right? Let's make it, everyone has a phone these days, but let's go a little step further to make it look really nice to these lenders. You can go and get you a 1-800 number from Freedom Voice, little next to nothing monthly. You can go do that. You could go to GoDaddy to get you an email. Don't get me wrong, you can get funding with a Gmail, but I will go make sure our business looking legit and making sure that when these lenders are pulling up our LLC, that they say, oh, this person is legit. You know, they got the name, they got the address, they got the email. We even gonna go as far as website. You do not have to spend all of this money on websites. You can go to GoDaddy. Just start off with, you know, GoDaddy has specials that you can link a business email with a landing page for under $50.
Yeah.
So this is all things that we're putting in place before we start you get into the business credit. Then I'm saying your name, get your address, get the phone number, all of that. And then, you know, you go get your EIN information. You get
Yeah.
that IRS, but you're going to make sure everything is stated the same on each document. Like
Yeah.
you're not 1,000 Parkway and the other document saying 1,000 Overlake Avenue. You know, things like that. We're going to make sure everything is uniformed. So you're going to go and then you're going to get your DUNS number. You go on dnb.com, get your DUNS number, and you all of your information for that. Then you're gonna list your business
Yeah.
on one, right? So that's what yourself.net. You're gonna
Yeah.
make sure when these lenders are Googling, they see you are legit. So
Yeah.
we take it further. So now that you have all of this information, now we're gonna go to the bank and we're gonna open up a business bank account, right? We're not using no personal name because when we fill out these applications, we want to make sure everything is legit. So now let's do a recap. We have the business structure. We have the business. We have the business address. We have the email. We have the website / landing page, phone number. We have the EIN. We have the done. We done list our business 411. And then I'm going to say, let's go now to nav.com because that's how you will be seeing your business credit scores,
Yeah.
right? So the difference between the personal and the business is the personal will report to TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Now on the business side, where they're reporting, Duns and Bradstreet is reporting Equifax and Experian. Now on the personal side, your credit score will range up to 850. but the way the business reported, it ranged from 0 to 100. So people could say like, oh, okay, so if you have an 80, a 80 is considered good.
Yeah.
Basically, it's time
Yeah.
for business credit. So you have to, educate yourself on things like that. So after we had the nav.com, right? Now I'm going to say, let's go after these trade accounts, which people may consider them as vendors,
Yeah.
right? So vendors basically giving you the merchandise and form of repayment. So you will have a certain amount of time to pay, the vendors back.
Yeah.
That's important. So you see how on the personal side, they will report, say, your utilization and things like that. But on the business, they're reporting how long it took you to basically pay them back,
Yeah.
right? So you're going to start at a tier 1, and the tier 1 will have things like Uline and grain, and then you wait for them to report, right?
Yeah.
Then after you wait for now you move on to the next tier, which is tier 2. Then you can have things like Home Depot or, Amazon, and the same time generating business credit. You
Yeah.
able to check that on nav.com. You'll get an alert, things like that. But there is a way that you can start having business credit reporting without going through the vendors with nav.com boost, and it's something called Ecredible. I don't know.
Okay. I ain't heard of that. Break that down for me.
So what Ecredible basically it is you basically pay a monthly fee, and they will report as if you are purchasing a trade line from them. So it's as low as what, $9.95? They have a package as low as $9.95. But they report, Ecredible reports to Duns and Bradstreet, and they report to so that's only $9.95. Nav.com, they have a boost package that you can pay them $39.99, and they will, excuse me, and they will act like, you have a trade line for them. That's
Yeah.
if you want to go the traditional way of purchasing merchandise or supplies or things like that. There's ways that you can get around that. But yeah, that's a really, because with that one, they also, not only can you pay a monthly fee for them to report, if you have, say, a telephone in your business name, or if you have a lease that you're paying, in your business name, you can link that to your Ecredible account. And once they verify it, they'll start reporting your history.
You
So,
see what I'm talking about?
yeah,
Education is just
yeah,
so key.
yeah. And that one, that's ECREDABLE.com. And that's a pretty good one. But so many of us are sitting over here with, say, we paying rent. You can have your utility reported, your water bill reported, anything that's in your business link, they allow you to link it over. But once you start setting your business up straight, getting these trade lines reporting, and once you go onto nav.com, when I tell you nav is the bomb, because you can basically tell nav what you're looking for. You can go as deep as linking your personal information to nav,
Yeah.
your annual revenue to nav, and they will show you offers,
Yeah.
because tell the system, I'm looking for debit cards or I'm looking for lines of credit. They would take your information and say, oh, okay, I see you're eligible for this and you're eligible for that. You can pre-qualify for this, that, or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a good one. And what people need to understand, because I hear a lot of things about, they just want to deal with business credit.
Yeah.
It's fine with dealing with business credit, but let's not forget about personal. you know, because you can have business credit, but why not put yourself in position just in case that lender is asking you to be a personal guarantor for that loan?
Yeah.
You why when you have good credit, and we're not going to go too much into funding, but you have good credit, you don't have to have a bunch of money sitting in the bank in order to qualify for the funding, right? Because they're looking at you like, oh, okay, you got a 750, then yeah, we can give you this money. But if you have a 500 credit score and you have the business credit, now they're going to start asking for your financials. Now they're going to go deep into, okay, show me where the money is coming monthly and things like that. So it's fine that people want to solely use their EIN versus their security number, but let's not forget about personal. You can work on both at the same time, you know,
Yeah.
and then once you, like you said, you get those credit cards, you find property for $10,000 and you got a business credit card, you could buy a house with a credit with
Yeah.
like on your 0% interest rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ridiculous because
Yeah.
we're not applying for anything unless we got a plan. So we
Yeah.
want, you know.
And to caveat on what you just mentioned, like I said, I used um a business credit card, 0% interest, in this past September's auction for one of the counties I was bidding on. And the policy was, again, I had to put up $2,500. Chase would be the company that you had to make the payment to. So they reserved the $2,500 on that credit card, that business credit card. Then starts the bidding process. So this particular county opened up the tax sale auction, and they say, hey, beginning September the 2nd through the 14th, that's your window to bid. And keep in mind, you had to reserve by using a credit card. Now, yes, you're absolutely right. You could use a business credit card, or you could use, personal credit card. Obviously, we understand that when you leverage, when your credit is in position, you can definitely, really leverage your personal credit to get more personal funding and business funding on that side. And again, I know that's a conversation I'll have another day as far as that funding, but just to let you know, you can use a personal credit card or a business credit card, depending on that county's rules and regulation. You can buy a house, because what wound up happening, I didn't have anybody bid against me in September for this 3-bedroom, 1-bath house that sits on a basement for $5,500. So once the auction was over with, the county sent me a notification, and they said, hey, Chase, you send a remaining balance to Chase. Keep in mind, they reserved $2,500. I just had to pay the balance, and there I got a house on a credit card for $5,500. And so I'm going up there this coming week. So I'm gonna do a live to talk about that, to reinforce. So you absolutely right. Getting your business established, to get business credit, while you're working on your personal credit, is just so monumental. So yeah, you set them up for success now, and then you drop some more gems. Like to be honest with you, I'm gonna have to get with you afterwards, because for the past couple of years, I've been paying leasing an office, because I do government contracts. So I've been leasing an office, and I'm like, what you just say that came up?
Yeah. You should, like how they have the site where, renters could go back and report their rent history. This is, if they can verify that it's a business name and things like that, yes, you go ahead and get that credit. So another, trade line that could be reported, because the more that's reporting, it looks good, on paper. But I did want to ask you, so do you help individuals get tax lien properties, only in Georgia or just any state?
No, no, no. I consult with people from really from anywhere, and I don't narrow it down to just one particular state. One thing I am is I'm almost like a sponge. Once you give me the basic information about any type of process, I'm gonna run with that. So, I started off learning about tax liens here in Georgia, and Georgia is a redeemable tax deed state. And so I said, the process is a little bit too long because with my business model, I need to not wait a year and a half to get that property. I need to find a state based on my business model where I can begin bringing in some residual income a little bit quicker than a year. And so I understood that when people say tax liens, they always say tax liens, and every particular state is different. So Georgia is a redeemable tax deed state, which means basically they have a penalty rate and they have a certain length of time that you have to wait and sit on that property because they want to give the owner an opportunity to come and redeem that property. You take a state like, I'm a big fan of tax deed states because the wait period is shorter. So, obviously for me, I'm investing in Michigan right now. So I was in their tax sale, this past September, and less than 30 days, I got a deed. And so I have a quick claim deed. So I have ownership in the property, but what I didn't realize, and that's the reason why I am very, I'm an advocate when I'm doing my consultation, is that you have money. You need additional money. And so I realized that there were some impediments with some of the people that were actually, I'm consulting with, and they didn't have money to get across that finish line. So I'm saying, okay, what's the problem? So some people, they're challenged on the personal credit side. And then some people, they're challenged on the business, business credit side. So I'm saying, okay, I got to make sure that, I connect you with the resources that I'm aware of and connect you with them to help you get across that finish line. And so, yeah, I have a consultation business where I do one-on-one, and we cover whatever state and whatever county really that you want to focus on. And we dive into that particular county. And just to share something with you right quick, there was one individual I was consulting with, and they were out in the state of Ohio. Now, Ohio, I thought was a purely tax deed state. And I came across a county, and I'm like, this looked like it's a tax lien certificate state. And I didn't talk about that. Tax lien certificate states are states where you bid down. So let's just say, the interest rate on a tax deed, let's just say a house is being taxed auctioned for $1,000. In a tax lien certificate state, they're going to say, hey, we got an interest rate. And if the interest rate starts off at 12%, which investor is going to take the lowest interest rate? And so that interest rate can start off at 12% and go all the way down to 0%. So who's going to take the lowest rate? So I'm sitting here thinking this particular county in Ohio was a tax lien certificate, because some states are dual. And I'm sitting here working with the client, and she's giving me some information. I'm saying, you know what, fuck this. Let me just call the county. So I wound up calling the county, and they were like giving me the runaround. So I was like, yo, we got to put a pause on this. We need to speak the same language. And so when we started speaking the same language, she was like, oh, you need to call this person. And when I spoke with that person, they was like, no, that's a tax deed. This is a tax deed county. And again, for me, that was just so paramount as I'm consulting with this person, because now they knew that, oh, I'm not in position to get ready to bid because, I can't leverage my personal credit. I don't have a choice but to build up my business credit, because it looks like I could do that process a little bit quicker. And so it leads me to ask you the question of, people always talk net 30, net 60, net 90.